Hello, it is Tuesday, November 1st, 2011 at 8:25 p.m. Central Daylight Time. And I wanted to show you a major HAARP ring flash that occurred just a short while ago. It occurred here in Oklahoma out of Vance Air Force Base. And it occurred at 23:11, which would be 7 p.m. or 7:11 Eastern Daylight Time. Let me first show you an overview. It's right in here. And you can see the evening beams are racing across the screen down here. And these flashes occurred right before they got there, some of them, and then some of them afterwards. And then we have a system, pretty good system moving up through here. Let me show you a closer shot, and I'll walk you through. We're at 22:43 UTC time, and the first little flash appeared right here out of Hastings, Nebraska at 22:46. You can see the little beams coming in right here. This is St. Louis. Its beams are always turned on for some reason. And then here we've got one coming out of Vance Air Force Base at 22:53. And then we've got Goodland, Kansas joining the fray, as well as Hastings turning into a half circle at 22:57. And then we've got Tulsa joining in, and that's at 23:04. And you can see where these beams are touching. Seems to be where they're the hottest. Although there's a little darker area right in here, so that's not entirely true. And there's where it flashed the hottest, and that was at 23:11. And you can see the little beams have arrived right in here. Actually, what they do is they show up out of each Doppler radar station as the sun is setting. That dusk line that goes through, I know it's got a name, I can't remember what it is right now, but I'm finding also that there's other things that seem to happen at the time they pass through. And this is at 23:25, and you can see here we got Goodland, Kansas lit up. And we've got Wichita, Kansas lit up. Actually, we've got a cross forming here with one of the beams coming out of Topeka, and then one coming up from Vance Air Force Base. And then they continue on the way, and everything seems calm. Here's a closer view. Well, let me run this through so you can see the loop. Slow it down just a touch. Clearly you can see these little beams coming through, I'm sure. When I went to the next rad sites, I can show you each of those. First I'll show you Vance, since that's the most intense one. Let's go ahead and play the loop. I'm going to slow it down just a touch. You can see that's a pretty intense hit. I slowed it down one more time. Maybe that's going to be too slow. And one more time. Show you. Let's do Hastings, Nebraska next. Slow it down one. It's got to go through a couple times usually in order to load all the frames. Well, that's interesting. This little cloud comes through right at the point that it's done there. Okay, let's do Goodland, Kansas next. Let's slow it down here one touch. And this is Wichita. Let's see, who didn't I do yet? This is Dodge City. I don't even know if it was in the, I don't think it had any beams. But you can see that it did change in its levels. See the scale changes here. It goes up to 24. And now here, right here, it's at 70. In any case, I also wanted to show you, I went and looked at the visible satellite. And this is at 2301, which is right before that major flash. And you can see right here, and Goodland's about here, and Hastings is here, that this cloud is basically covering the area in here. It's not going down into Vance Air Force Base, although it looks like there's something down in there. This is where it first started, the beams coming out. So next frame is at 2315. Well, notice back at 2301 we've got one of these little dazzle beams coming in here. I'm thinking they add frequency or something just because of their appearance and things that seem to always happen when they do appear. I'll go ahead and play this through once. Let's go forward. I'm always going backwards. I'm going to slow it down a bit. Something interesting is, I'll show you here. Here's the first dazzle beam. That's at 1401. It's right here by this mountain range. And then there's some smoke or clouds that seem to be starting to come right off here. I assume they're clouds, but you can see right here, this one's getting a little heavier. And then when this dazzle beam comes in, it got quite a bit heavier. That's what carries up and becomes this cloud over here. And this is Colorado, so that would be southern Colorado, northern New Mexico. Let me zoom in so you can see this. This is southern Colorado again. There's that cloud right there, and there's that dazzle beam. And then we'll watch this cloud move up into Kansas until 2301, which was that heavy beam coming out of Vance Air Force Base. So there you have it. God bless you. Have a good evening.